It's early morning, St. Johns County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large. Friday the 13th. My medical appointment exhausted me yesterday, and I was not in good spirits. It's been tough. Uh, the Bobcat was a harrowing experience, and that's what I'll talk about a little bit today. Maybe a little bit of strategy. And I'll try to make it brief. I'm going to keep trying to make these videos to let everybody know I'm still part of this world. Not that I'm planning anything radical or anything. Don't want any misinterpretation, but I'm really struggling. I wasn't able to get my Give, Send, Go and GoFundMe yesterday. I wasn't able to promote this yesterday's video, so I think I have 7 views. It actually requires that you have a little bit of strategy to using social networking. Just didn't have the energy to do it. Medical appointment. It's the travel, and I'm not feeling well, and I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping, um, troubling dreams. Don't ever feel rested, and then for about 5 or 6 days, up until about yesterday, everything acid, so I must have had the latest COVID or whatever's going around. I could go down the whole rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. But, I mean, is there really any conspiracies left? I mean, are all the conspiracy theories true? I mean, we had a official yesterday or the day before stated that we had just talked to an Army astronaut on the moon. Maybe we do have a secret moon base. I mean, this was an actual official in the current United States administration stating that recently we just talked to an astronaut on the moon, or Army astronaut. I assume he meant the International Space Station, but still, a big stretch. Just speak that much, or do we have that level of incompetence in the United States government? This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. Liberal, conservative, libertarian, authoritarian. So I don't know. This is incompetence. Am I the only one that feels that I'm smarter than my leaders? My representatives, my state representatives, my senators, state of Florida, and then I go to the United States government. They all seem like a bunch of dopes. I read what they write, and I listen to what they say and how they say it, and I'm thinking, are they? These are supposed to be our elite. They're supposed to be the best educated. Well, I would hope. Now, there's no educational requirements for politics. Let's get back to what I want to basically focus on in that video, and that's science. I had a bobcat, pretty kind of a harrowing experience. It made me hurt my arm even more, dealing with all that. And then, yesterday afternoon, I was trying to sit right here and work on my stuff, and basically all I'm doing is making phone calls and sending letters because everything's falling apart. For the first time, um, probably, I don't know, probably 20 years, I was late on a credit card payment yesterday. I couldn't make my minimum payment for my credit card. It was due by 8 p.m. I just didn't have the funds. Um, didn't have them to pay the bill. Couldn't make the minimum payment. And then I meant to call the credit card company and, the bank. And honestly, I just couldn't stay awake. But around sunset yesterday, I had my arm sitting on the window, and I have the towel hanging here because I don't want my whereabouts disclosed. That this maniac, this city councilman in Key West, I don't. I'm already in trouble, and he would not. He's trying to avoid the statute of limitations, and not for attempted murder. The statute of limitations for attempted murder is basically life. Um, he's trying to avoid a statute so that I can sue him civilly for the damage he's caused to my life. That's probably 4 years. There might be a legal expert who tell me it's a little longer because of the tolling and toiling that I have suffered. There's all these legal terms. Basically, there are a lot of misdemeanors, tampering and so forth. Most of those are 4 years, and we're getting to the point where it's going to be 4 years in a couple months. Actually, less than a couple months. And if I give away my whereabouts, I'm making myself. I was planning on taking care of all of this and bringing it to a head a year ago, and I just honestly, I just couldn't get enough work. H-1B visa program is killing jobs. Um, you know, basically, I have European ancestry. Hey, a white guy in my 50s. Tech companies don't hire us. I'm very skilled. I've been, I was actually as a teenager back in the, I don't want to give away my exact age for the whole doxing thing, but let's just say the 70s and 80s. I was disassembling those early computers that connected to your television and reassembling them. I was building circuit boards. I was soldering electronics, and I wasn't even 10. This is what I did. I have all of that experience. I was a subscriber to Radio Electronics magazine. I don't even know if that still exists. I read it. I read Science Digest, Scientific American, Omni magazine. Plus I read Newsweek and U.S. News and World Report and Time and Life. I would read them cover to cover. Before I even was out of grade school, I was doing all this. And I have a lot of skills to offer. And companies, I've sent out 40 or 50 resumes, applications, no CVs because I haven't been really applying to foreign. And nothing. But Indians are getting hired. Pakistanis are getting hired. Sri Lankans are getting hired. Bangladeshis are getting hired. But basically, the Indian area because they speak English. They're not any smarter than anyone else in the world, but they speak English and they'll work for less. Companies don't have to pay them as much. They don't have to pay them the wages. They don't have to provide them the health benefits because they hire them through contractors. These are employment agencies that are based in India that help in other countries. I don't want to just pick on India. They help them get their H-1B visas, their technology, green cards, basically. And it allows them to come to the United States and work. And then the employers are basically paying the companies here in the United States, the tech companies, they're basically paying a contractor. So they don't pay any health benefits. They don't have to deal with HR or anything like that, or go through a payroll company. They just cut a check. And then that company pays the employees. And so it's a lot less expensive for them. And the employees are much more loyal because they don't want to get deported. They don't want their visa to be canceled. So they're much more reliable workers and because Americans, you ask an American, I need you to work over on a Friday night, and they're like, my kid's got a baseball game, and then I promised my wife we were going to go out to dinner. I'm sorry, but the Indian will say, sure, 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 and that's what happens. But I've been left in a mess because of various circumstances. I'm not trying to cry the victim, but I am. But get back to signs. If we want to be mystical, superstitious, perhaps even religious. Yesterday around sunset, I had my arm on this window. Medical visit made me feel worse. Dealing with. I didn't have to fight off the bobcat. It just my sudden movements and then everything that fell out of the van all back in. It hurt my arm again. Just re-injured it from the crash. But a a red-shouldered hawk landed right here, pretty much where I was injured, and it looked at me. I mean, right here, it looked at me, and I've had many birds fly into this fan, many birds. The favorite ones are the favorite, the like me the most, or the most common, I should say, to be scientific and accurate, are the wrens. They love to land, they land right, right on the steering wheel. Sometimes they leave a present for me, a jewel, to folks that own a parakeet, and they used to let the parakeet fly all over the house, and if it would land on your hand, and then of course get it dropping on your hand, they say, "Oh, he left you a jewel." Um, so that's what they call it. Um, it 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 stared at me for about 5 seconds, and I was just amazed. And I thought, should I reach for my phone so that I can photograph or video? Didn't have a chance. And then it flew to the ground, and I kind of had to look over my shoulder, and it sat on the ground for 30 or 40 seconds, looking up at me, tilting its head back and forth, like birds do. And then it flew behind me. Um, and I just, the bobcat, and in the same day, that was the early morning with the bobcat. And, that's unusual, especially coming, but it's just probably hungry. And then red-shouldered hawk lands on me, and I've been very upset. Um, a lot of self-reflection, beginning to wonder, what's the point? What's the point of even living? And I'm not saying I'm suicidal, but what's the point? I can't get hired. I'm going to try public assistance. I'm out of time this week. It's already Friday. I think it's a holiday weekend. I'm not even sure. I believe it's another stupid holiday. Not that I'm getting political, but every time I need to get something done or visit a government office or whatever, it seems like it's always a holiday. Or if I need mail to travel faster, it's a holiday. We have enough days. I think we should get rid of some of these extra holidays, honestly. But getting back to the hawk, then last night, or actually early this morning, to be more accurate, around 3 a.m., I had three raccoons visit me, chirping, and all the noises they make. I don't want to try to imitate them. Microphone. I might cause somebody's dogs to bark, because I'm pretty good at imitating raccoons. Um, and they kind of stared at me, and they were standing right outside of my window as I'm trying to work on the computer, because they're napping in between. But it seems like the animals have been approaching me recently, and I don't know if they're sensing my distress or I'm about to do something bold. But I'm actually taking it as an encouragement. I'm going to push even harder. I believe this wildlife is sending me a signal. I hate to sound spiritual, mystical, religious, but I'm philosophical, philosopher pirate. But maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go really hard. Even if I can't find an advocate, an attorney, I'm going to push as hard as I can. I hope I don't get myself arrested. I hope I don't get myself killed. But you know what? What's the point anymore? I have tried everything, the most courteous, the most polite way, and nothing seems to be working. I'm not going to be protesting this weekend with a bunch of clowns all over. 75 locations are going to have this on King protest. And of course, there'll be Trump supporters. The Trumpers will be doing their thing. And then you're going to have anti-protesters, and you're going to have agitators infiltrating all the groups trying to promote, anarchy, the anarchists, which they're nothing new, by the way. I mean, I remember, these big economic summits years ago, and there was always the anarchist agitating everything. So, it's nothing new, whether it's Antifa or whatever, or even, the right wing. I can't remember all the names of the groups on both sides of this, or, they're not really even sides. I consider them all fools when it comes to strict ideology. We all need to have an open mind. If we're not thinking, then we're not human. I don't. I really need to go hard, and I mean hard, through the legal system, through politicking, through the media. I'm a citizen journalist in the state of Florida. You don't need a license to be a journalist. You just need to declare yourself a journalist. And unless DeSantis signs something otherwise, then I should be grandfathered in, because I've been a citizen journalist for the last 3 or 4 years. Been asking a lot of questions, investigating my own case, investigating other things, and then I share. I share with folks in person, and writing a book, research for my own book, and I'm also now I'm sharing with yourselves through this format. This videos. Got to make it shorter than the last one, but I'm going on here. But I'm going to keep working hard, and another hawk fly by behind this camera. I guess that's taking the sign. That hawk, look in its eyes, sitting on my arm, right on where my injury is, and staring me. Just looking right at it. It was looking right in the eye. It was almost intimidating. But in a way, it was calming, and I'm taking that as a sign that I need to as hard as I have been working, I need to work even harder, and turn my focus to legal matters, even if I have to act as my own attorney. Pro se is the legal term. I'm going to have to do it, because attorneys are afraid of me. They're afraid of my case, because they don't have courage. They like these movies you see on television. The civil rights attorney stands up. It's not true. They're a bunch of cowards. The attorneys in Florida that I've dealt with, they're all cowards. I have not met one that has any cojones, any courage, any wherewithal. I am not met with one. I visited the headquarters of the Bar Association, the Florida Bar Association. I was inside. I guess people that non-attorneys are not supposed to go inside, but I was standing around in the parking lot. It's a whole story in itself. But I actually met with, several, and talked to them right in their, right in the facility there. Yeah, and they gave me this card, which is right at the, right at their entrance. I was on when I was leaving. I'm going to push hard. But again, Florida Bar Association basically just gave me a list of potential attorneys that could help me. And guess what? None of them helped. Well, I'll put it this way: they did help me. I was able to have conversations and learn, and perhaps give me more perspective, maybe another angle, and that type of thing. I don't want to say they were worthless. But as far as representing me on a contingency basis, it's a lie. They won't do it. And they also don't want to hurt any type of political aspirations that they may have, because they're fighting against the man, the system, the government, city hall, state capital. That's what I'm fighting. And you know what? I'm going to keep doing it. Keep fighting. I'm going to keep reporting. And let's see where it goes, folks. I'm going to leave it there, because I think I'm almost as long as the last video. But again, it's early morning, St. Johns County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large.